Boom. If you sold your coins, I feel bad for your son because I got 99 problems, but a dip ain't one. Yes, that's right. It's the meme of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. This is another episode of Tio and the Arcane Bear. A little bit of market and sentiment analysis. Oh no, markets go fire. Sky is falling, chicken little, you must run. It's not the case. Finding calm demeanors and emotions. This is actually called a shakeout. Now, a few hours from now, some YouTuber or some journalist out there is going to come up with a reason for why the market shook out. But it's generally because we're up quite high and the big players want to shake the market down, get rid of as many weak retail hands as possible, and accumulate more of the undervalued assets that they like, Bitcoin included. Now, there's a few things I want to go over tonight, so it's kind of fun. Looking forward to this episode. Right off the bat, give us a thumbs up if you guys like this content. Really appreciate that. It helps other people later on down the stream find that helpful information that they might be looking for, and you can help them find. Smash that like, or caress your mouse gently because it is Valentine's Day. Okay, bad joke. Here we go. We're going to go and we're going to take a look. Let's start with the charts, and then I want to move on to a good tweet I found earlier that I thought was quite helpful. Yay! Bitcoin on the chart right now on the 4 hour. Now, this is what we were looking at earlier today, and notice how when we got to the... there's a few things to note here. Primarily, we were looking for this new trading range to form, right? So this was to be anticipated. The other tokens have dropped as well. Now the wicks on some of these are extremely large. On ADA, Cardano, Avalanche, big wicks, and then looks like the spring. This actually looks like schematic number 2 now. Here as well. Boom, look at those big wicks come down. So what happens here is big players test the supply. They want to see how low they can get the market to go before they generally use their final markup capabilities, especially with this much dynamic range this much dynamic selling pressure within the range here in the wick, how quickly it's chewed up. It's usually a signal that they're on both sides of that trade. They're trying to throw a bunch of supply into the market to see how low it can go and then chew it back up at those lower prices. Find out how much supply does it take to actually move the market. So right now we're on Bitcoin on the 4 hour. And as we move in a little closer, we can start to see this a fair amount of supply down here came into the market, but not as much as the previous shakeout. Now, we did get a pretty significant spread here, but it hasn't closed inside of the volume or the body of the candle itself. Now, often what I'll do is I like to use the area chart because it kind of gets rid of that, and I can show you a bit more clearly that yes, we've broke. Now, what's interesting to note here on the area chart, well, first off, we can get rid of those wicks. Primarily, we can see that there's a little bit of more of a tightness to that channel that we were looking at. We're right on top of the POC for this new area, for this area chart. So sometimes what I like to do, if you've been following for a while, we used to always only use the area chart because it gets rid of some of the noise and it gets rid of some of the that hollow feeling. We're like, oh my God, look at the wick. But this is likely indicating that this market move and test of the supply is probably not done yet. I do suspect we're going to get another big supply bar come in, but look how quickly it got bought up. So if we go down to the 1 hour, it gives it a bit of more of a myopic view of those ranges itself. Now, what's unique here is that on the 1 hour, we're looking at the backup phase for Bitcoin. So again, guys, let's make sure we know where we are. So I'm going to start here, go back. This is the 6 hour. So as you can see, we were following a much bigger trading range, and then we moved up into the backup range above the top of the box. And we had suspected to some degree that we would see a declination of price here down, or once we hit the top of this box, most likely down into this area here of around 44 to 43,000. So that's likely where Bitcoin is going to go right now. The others are very similar, although their wicks are much larger, which is really interesting to see. We'll go over some of the other market players next. But again, this time frame is to recognize, okay, we're at the top of the trading range, a secondary trading range, right, in the backup phase itself. So as we go in, it starts to look, this is what you always have to remember, what time frame you're in. So sometimes we'll zoom in, like this is the 1 hour, right? So here on the 1 hour, we saw a rising wedge. This is often why these are considered bearish, but break down just to around the start of the channel. Now, I do suspect that what we're going to get is actually a continuation of that breakdown to push below and then into this 43,000, 42,000 mark here of this trading range. This will probably be the final trading range. Now, again, this could have broke to the upside, but look, we just kept hitting resistance here. And we were looking for a horizontal trading range anyways. But on the 1 hour, it can be very deceiving when you look like these candles can look scary. So if you guys are new to this stuff and you're looking at the 1 minute, or like look at what would happen if you're looking at the 15 minute right now, for like something low like that, where it just goes, it looks like it's dropping half of my screen now all of a sudden, right? You guys really got to remember where you are in the time frames. It's going to dramatically help increase at least your calmness during the markets and your ability to kind of anticipate where they're going next. So Bitcoin, our collateral layer, doing very well here. And again, what's unique here, guys, is we've multiple times compared Bitcoin and Ethereum in price gains since the spring, that psychological moment when the pandemic hit. And I think what's important to recognize is, yes, Ethereum has gone up 1,800% since March. Bitcoin's only gone up 10x or 1,000%. So they're both valuable, but one's more volatile than the other. So I saw a really fun tweet earlier I kind of wanted to go over. So for those of you that don't follow me, go to Twitter, twitter.com/the Arcane Bear. I believe it has the because someone else years ago took actually just Arcane Bear. And check out Yassine Elimandra. He's a crypto analyst at ARK Invest. First off, if you don't know ARK Invest as well, definitely check out Kathy Wood. You're in for a treat. If you should, out of all the people I do listen to, Kathy Wood's ARK Invest is definitely up there. So check them out. They're great. They're great analysts. What I liked about, where was this tweet? Here it is. Okay, so after peaking, this is a Bitcoin tweet, and then we go into a Ethereum tweet afterwards. So after peaking at 50% of its all-time high, Bitcoin's relative Google interest shows at only 25% now. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's price has increased twofold from its previous high. Now, one of the conjectures here that I think is being made is that what we're witnessing in Bitcoin's relative search interest is the fact that retail is not all that interested in Bitcoin. The reason the price has been going up is because some of the world's largest funds have been accumulating Bitcoin, right? Specifically, Bitcoin. Now, let's make a comparative analysis again to Ethereum. So here's Ethereum paints a different picture. Search interest in this cycle exceeded search interest in 2017 and is now 60% of its all-time high. So now there's two reasons for this. Now, primarily, we knew that retail in general would get to a space, look at a Bitcoin at $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 and think to themselves, oh, it's too expensive for me to own. I can't own one Bitcoin. But more importantly, they often underestimate what percentage gains are, right? So we've seen an 1,800% growth in Ethereum and 1,000% growth in Bitcoin from March to today, roughly speaking, rounded off the edges. So we could say it another way. Since March 11th, we have reached approximately a 10x for Bitcoin or an 18x for Ethereum, both extremely valuable, but one is twice as more volatile than the other at this particular moment. And also seeming that the interest and the drive behind Ethereum is mostly retail. And this is something important to note is because Wall Street Bets was a big conversation. Well, look what Wall Street Bets did to Main Street. They were able to push them out on their ass. When a bunch of people collaborate together, it moves markets, right? We know that. So even though it's retail that's invested in Ethereum and moving those markets, because we can almost clearly see it by the Google's interest of Ethereum as a search term versus Bitcoin, which is being accumulated quietly, again, maybe sometimes not so quietly, by the world's biggest funds, it's mostly institutional. Now, first off, institutional was late to this game to begin with. What's going to make us think they're not late to the Ethereum game? One of the reasons why I like Ethereum is because Bitcoin's kind of boring. It's its tractor. It does its one thing. And I don't really want to mess with that tractor. I'm like, I don't want to add wings to the tractor, guys. I don't want to add a jet ski carrier to the tractor. Let's just leave the tractor do its thing. And if we're going to build other toys, let's build them around our collateral layer. Ethereum and Avalanche, Cardano, these are other toys I believe we can build around the collateral layer without fucking with our tractor. Tractor doesn't need wings. Just leave it and be a tractor. It goes forward. It plows forward. It's done what it's supposed to do. Let's leave it do that. So I think Main Street, as we've seen from Wall Street to Bets, is incredibly intelligent, well put together, well educated, and very deep, thorough research from individuals that could manage these big funds. If they're interested in Ethereum, they might actually know better to some degree. So I think what we're witnessing, and I agree with Yassine Ark here from Ark Invest's breakdown, is that Ethereum is most likely being driven by the retail sector. So what do we see? We see more volatility, both to the up and downside from that retail drive. But retail, again, was here in Bitcoin before the big players. Does that tell us something? I think it does. Both in science, mathematics, a lot of the times, there's dogma that holds certain entities from moving forward. Even the charity sector, you can't take that much risk to produce something new and exciting. Retail, on the other hand, is happy to call themselves degenerates and go diamond hands and do ridiculous things to try and learn something through the process, and not really be afraid of failure. And not only that, they don't have any individual shareholders or anyone that they have to be accountable to necessarily, maybe wife, children, government. Screw the government. Less regulation. Anyways, the point of this story is, because I can go off on tangents sometimes, is we're still in a very healthy accumulation range here. And a lot of these other, even like Link, right? Look at the dynamic volatility from the top of the buying climax, down 23%. Okay, we'll measure Link next to Ethereum. Okay, down to 12%. Okay, what about if we measure the dynamic range here? Dang, Bitcoin, only 9%. Okay, so Bitcoin is less volatile than the others. Well, that's a pretty important function, isn't it? Okay, so let's see. Buying climax on Cardano down 31%. Okay, and then Avalanche from that buying climax as well, down approximately 46%. So from Bitcoin onwards, the relative strength is actually more so in the relative volatility, I think, is an important way to pay attention to these markets. Let's take a look at KNC. From the top of the buying climax, if I could give me my ruler, yeah, around 33% here as well. So we can definitely see that right now Bitcoin is less volatile. Holy wow. I mean, aside from the stable coins, right? That's an important function for the collateral layer. And that's what this is. I think Bitcoin is the tractor. The Ethereum, Link, Avalanche, Cardano, GRT, Band, these are other toys that happen to work off similar mechanics and functions, but they're not the tractor. Tractors do some pretty important things in our ecosystem, so don't forget that. But we also have cars that are worth as much as tractors. We've got planes that are worth as much as tractors too. So I think in a value proposition, what we need to understand right now is that volatility wave outwards. The volatility in Bitcoin is less. Okay, well, that's a hell of an important thing to understand, because in reality, it's not risky anymore. When we look back and we see that it's mostly hedge funds that are putting their money into the asset right now, it's basically verified all of our convictions, right? So we can compare Ethereum. We can make an argument that, maybe the markets are going to be more volatile. Well, great. Yes, they are. There's a clear fact. The rest of the Ethereum and the rest of the other tokens are extremely volatile, because you're playing with people that are just solely interested in all these different toys. But our money layer, for the first time, isn't risky anymore. It's just volatile. Now think about that. That's a huge deal. We've said this earlier in the episode today, that we think Bitcoin's going to somewhere like $220,000, and maybe it'll just peak out somewhere to 3 or 4 just to scare the crap out of everyone. Like, oh my God, it's actually going to $1 million. I should have stayed in, because it will try to do that. Markets try to do that. Just like right now, they're trying to shake people out. Right now, big money is trying to drop the markets a little bit, creating that volatility swing and scooping up more, because they have the ability to dump out a bunch at once to see how low they can push the price. But look how quickly these candles get just chewed right up. So I think when we're studying, we want to remember this is like a dance between people's emotions around the world. And when you feel the markets move, especially if you're new, if it's like let's say it's the most money you've ever had, and you have that money in the markets, and you're watching your portfolio swing up and down in these wild manners, it's dizzying. It can create a nauseous effect. But remember what I just said. For the first time, in my opinion, and it's not, at least let's say since 2021 to some degree, Bitcoin's not a risky asset anymore. It's just fucking volatile. Ethereum is still a risky asset, right? There are other competitors in this ecosystem. There are other cars, there are other toys, there are other jets and other instruments and mechanics that we can build with this technology that are out there, right? They're competing for market dominance in basically different sectors. It's still the finance sector, but it's more so the communication of information sector. It's an extremely valuable proposition, is the value of communication transfer, information transfer. So really, guys, obviously we're all here to accrue as much alpha over time. Really trying to understand your strategy, your movement through this stuff is going to become extremely important. We went over an article many days ago by Fidelity called "The Best Investors Are Dead," because many times these emotional swings will push you out of your position. Well, people that have more money can just accumulate and not think about it. And be like, okay, great, I'll just keep accumulating. Now, a big part of the question is, does retail now have as much money as the Wall Street banks? At a decentralized layer, yeah, probably. We saw that with GameStop. But now they shouldn't have been holding on that long. And there's no, don't need to convince everyone to be diamond hand degenerates. Right? If you want to play here and this is new money for you, put stop losses in, take profits. When we're up, when we just saw amazing moves out of GRT, like from the SOS breakout, what was that? 230%, take some profits off. It's because these are volatile. The reason why you want to have small amounts in venture capital is because you've got a 40% retracement afterwards. Okay, right? But we can just be patient. And if you get the venture capital bets right on the long term, they pay off enormously. So these are still early days. We don't know. Ethereum's risky. Yes, it's volatile. Yes, but so was Bitcoin. Bitcoin was risky and is still volatile. Ethereum's actually risky and volatile. Link is risky and volatile. But together they build a new financial ecosystem together. That's, I think, the most important part. I don't think Bitcoin expands to be all of the societal and contract layers that we need to build the world we live in. I think Bitcoin can solve one problem. It can be the tractor that just plows forward and provides a monetary layer. But there's a bunch of other layers that are just as, if not more important than the monetary layer, like the societal layer, the contract, how people vote, how people manage their lives around them. These are all extremely important, invaluable things to talk about. Not unvaluable. If you've ever ended up in a country that is a horrible government and there's people throwing Molotov cocktails at the police, I can tell you very quickly, you don't care how much your monetary layer is working. You care about where can I go where the societal layer and contract is still functioning and use my money there. It's important to remember. Just solving Bitcoin and the monetary layer, this awesome contractor we have, doesn't account for any of the other problems. And I believe that these other players, Ethereum, Cardano, Link, Avalanche, GRT, Band, KNC, the whole ecosystem, not any one of them in specifically, is aiming down that route. And that's what I've always been excited for. So while I agree with Yassine here in his take that the big funds are moving into Bitcoin, making it a non-risk asset to some degree, that Ethereum is more risky, mostly being chewed up by retail, obviously here in the Google searches, it might represent a wave of change that we've been waiting for a while, which is that the people have the power, right? Why is it that we should think that the big hedge funds should get to manage and own these things just because they have more capital wealth? The people are the real power of this ecosystem. And we saw that with Wall Street bets. And I think we might be seeing it again. I think we might be seeing retail's interest actually somewhat front load the conversation, just like we did with Bitcoin, because we can do things that big corporations aren't always as swift and as easy to do. We can at least think outside of the box because it's fun to do. Whereas these big funds are like, oh, it's too risky. We don't even know what it is. They didn't even look for years. They didn't even bother to care about what Bitcoin was for years. Oh, hey, there's some power back. Awesome. Good. I'm glad that came back. I like it when the lights are working. Okay, that was the first kind of breakdown and conjecture I wanted to go over for today's episode. Thank you for joining us on tonight's live stream. I thought I would jump in and just, be calm with you guys, chill out for a minute. Thought it might be smart. Share some of my calm demeanor during all of this, and take a look at the charts. So again, I'm gonna take a look at. Actually, we could take a look at Glassnode right now too. That'd be a good way to start. There's no real focus of this evening's episode, so I want to just kind of jump on and take a look-see at where we were. Let's see if we can have some chat. We'll look in the live stream too. If Bitcoin breaks down, it all breaks down. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. They're all yes, Bitcoin is still risky. I was being kind of a conjecture head, right? Everything's still risky. The being alive is risky, motherfucker. What are you talking about? Like, of course, everything in the world, in the universe, is risky. Like, you can always argue from some side of the table that's kind of a blanketed general statement because it allows you to do so. The universe is kind of like a black and white place, right? The tallest trees get all the sunlight. The biggest stars amount all of the mass, and then the black hole sucks it all in. Like, the universe has some weird twist to it. So I would, you just got to remain capable of having a well-rounded conversation, I guess. Okay, so Bitcoin, we're going to look at just some of the conjecture here. Let's see, exchange balance percent stacked. We always like to watch these. So far, we haven't seen any new supply come onto the market, only decrease. And if we look even closer here, yeah, we're staying relatively flat, and it looks like we will probably stay flat here for quite some time. They'd like to chew it up slowly and then take it off the markets when they can. If you looked at and kind of read about what Musk and Tesla did, they were buying, and Saylor as well, they were buying large amounts in small volumes so as to not move the price too much. We still see a very similar supply range of around 12% of all Bitcoin on the open market. Most of it's being bought in the back end, right? We maybe even haven't seen a whole lot of buying pressure hit the open market yet too. So keep that in mind, that this is still primarily driven in the back end by OTC deals, over-the-counter trades, effectively between miners and other big players, effectively. So keep that in mind. Again, what we're witnessing are the front end supply exchanges, not the OTC. We don't see those prices and that supply come into the market. It's just like a static deal. It's not a dynamic deal where you have an order book and trades taking place at these smaller accounting points. And that's, again, generally what you find is that the OTC broker will be able to guarantee a price with an approximate slippage per se. And that's what you get from the automated market makers as well. But again, it's nice to see this nice chunk of volume come in. It's a really nice test. And for the rest of again, a long link here too. But if you look at these guys, again, what we're trying to look at is pay attention to the volatility and things like Link. Look at this candle wick here. And look at the similarity here. This again indicates to me that there's a lot of retail, but there's still interest from other big players. And again, they were slow to get to the market here in Bitcoin. I don't think they're going to be fast to get to the other markets either. They might be slow there as well. Even some of the world's biggest players didn't understand what was happening in GameStop. They're like, well, what do you mean it's not earning anything? Why is the price of the stock going up? It's like, guys, it's just literally buy and sell supply. Did no one tell you how the markets work? I thought you worked at the NASDAQ. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, a lot of people don't know how these things work. And that's probably a bad thing to some degree. It's like if you're driving a car and you don't know how it works. It's always good to have like a little bit of an idea how the car works before you drive it. I know a lot of people that drive cars probably have no idea how it works. Oh my God, we live in scary times. That's what that means. Funny stuff. So I'm just going to try to, I think it's time for a new desk chair. This one's a little bit too lean back. I want one of those gamer chairs. They look more straight up. Anyways, let's take a look at some of your guys' thoughts and questions in the meantime here. Scroll through. Crypto Man says, I bought at 38 and then sold like a donkey at 32. This is the Crypto Man, I'm sorry that you did the exact wrong thing, but is a perfect opportunity for a learning lesson. So let's go over that really quickly. Let's go over that learning lesson together. So Crypto Man 5000 said he sold, he bought at 38 and then sold at 32. So we're going to go back out to the 6 hour so we can clearly see we can clearly see our trading range here. And then we're going to highlight some specific parts here, because again, the bleeding is probably not done yet. That's probably just the start. Now, again, we could make no conjecture for this being distribution yet, though. I mean, because we're above the box, like, oh, could this be a failure point and we come down lower? No, we just don't see the supply down here to indicate that this is a up thrust after distribution, right? Because that can happen where you have these breakouts that come back down into the trading range. So all in all, things still look very, very positive. I think, again, so Crypto Man is like, I bought at 38 up here and then sold at 32. And this is usually what the spring it does. The spring is designed to scare people. And that's what we're about to witness now. I think it's actually the first shakeout. I think we're seeing the first shakeout. We'll probably need a secondary test, and then we'll get a spring for Bitcoin, which may put us as low as 42.8 if we hit that. And it's based off this reaccumulation schematic 3, something like this. I mean, if we get something like this, it would look pretty good to me, where we just kind of draw down here. And this is usually where, like Crypto Man was saying, this is where he would have sold by accident. This is right at this emotional part here, like, oh my God, he'll put like a stop loss in because it's, I don't know, what is that, 1% maybe? Anyways, yeah, it's important to build confidence and strength in understanding these structures as they form, for multiple reasons. You know, again, guys, if you're new to this ecosystem, you could probably just literally buy Bitcoin for the next 5 or 10 years and and never once have to sell it and do great. It really depends on where you are and how you're building a portfolio and how long you've been in the markets to be able to play by getting out of positions, and how much time you have to do that. It's like a pretty time-consuming thing. The markets change dramatically in short periods of time, and if you want to capture that energy, you got to focus pretty much solely on that. I usually wait for key moments to take place. There was a good one back here that was pretty nice, right at this POC line. There was a small inverse head and shoulders on a small reaccumulation channel there too. Yeah, so let me take a look at some of your guys' thoughts and questions again. Thank you again for joining us this evening. We're just kind of going over the markets. I figured I'd provide some calm, tangible thoughts in the background. I wish I had like a little bit of studio music for you guys. It's like something chilling, like in the background I was talking. I'm sure I can figure that out, but I'm not going to try to do it on the live stream. Okay. Ghost says, I longed Ethereum at 1842. I thought it was going to go up. My liquidation is 15.95. Okay, well, guys, you probably shouldn't be using leverage if you're new to the ecosystem. Not unless you have the money to play to try to like hit those home runs, because otherwise you're going to get scared and poop your little baby pants. Or just get liquidated and hold it all the way to the very, very bitter end, or it'll come so close that it can just almost wipe you out and then turn around. Yeah, so just don't play with leverage if you're new, guys. Or if you want to try it out, like go lose some money, like throw $50 and figure out what leverage is or figure out what options are. Go spend the money to learn the lesson, but just make sure it's really, don't put a lot on the markets, because leverage is crazy. I have a feeling that like my hair needs to get cut again. It's just a little too long. Okay. Take a look at Mana with some lo-fi hip-hop playing. Yeah, I know. I totally need some like background chill music. Oh, you know what I can do? I could do this. I could go Epidemic Sound and I could download a song. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that for fun. So we got some like background chill music. Okay, cool. We'll just go with the first song we get. Download full mix. Boom. ES Invasion. Let's see. I can just add that as a source in here, right? We'll kind of just let it chill in the background. Media source. Add source. Add a new source instead. Tunes. Thanks, guys, for being patient. We're just gonna. Well, this means we'll go longer this evening too. Yes. One sec here. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, that'll be great. Now I should just be able to play it in the background. Yeah. Can you guys hear that now? You can hear music in the background now, right? Is that a true story? Guys, I'm trying to figure out something on the late Sunday live stream so that we can have kind of like background music. Seeing if it works. Yeah, I don't know. I can't hear it though. That doesn't really help if I can't hear it too. I want to be able to hear the chill background music, guys. It's not fair. I feel left out now. Okay, well, I don't think it's working. Okay, well, it was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. I'm gonna put some music on for myself then in the background. Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll listen to it then. Ridiculous. Nice. Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us this evening. This is Tio and the Arcane Bear. I really appreciate that you guys spend your time with us in these market cycle madness moments. Being calm, being diligent, remembering that if we scroll out here and we compare where we are now to where we came from when we were all the way back down here at the spring, we can see these really, really dramatic changes. And the whole way through, you could have been buying every step of the way still so far. Doesn't matter, anywhere here, or here, or look, anywhere in the previous past bull markets as well, were all positive. And that's good to remember, is that when you really give yourself that long allotted amount of time, that you can actually have accumulated Bitcoin at any of these places. And you would have done fine. And that's, as an investor, that should feel good. It should feel good that you could have just bought every single day, never once looked at your portfolio. You'd never had to watch TO video, although I'm really grateful that you do. You could have just been buying, doing whatever you wanted. Maybe you'd love watching TO videos, so we'll keep making them. But again, remember that like from the investing strategy alone, if you're new, one of the easiest things you can do is literally just practice accumulating. And you can do that for decades. And it works. It works really well, actually, too. So it's not till we go back into these closer time frames where we start to study these trading ranges and we kind of look at what's going on that we can get a clearer picture of why our market psychology affects so many retail investors. They buy for the first time, just like Captain 5000 did, and then it breaks down. Bam. And then you spring, and then you sell right there because you get scared. And you 24 hours later, bang, 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 boom, you get a big breakout. And that's the market taking advantage of human psychology, right? And it's gotten really good at doing it. It spent hundreds of years trying to take advantage of your psychology through these dips. When you buy for the first time at 38,000, and then you sell here by accident for 32,000, and then it instantly jumps up, and you buy here at the top again. You're like, oh my God, it's down at 43. You're like, it's gonna, and then you accidentally sell here. Don't do that. Don't get caught up in that. It's not worth it. You can literally have just been buying every single day since the day of the pandemic, and with pretty much no dismay, within weeks or months, you're in profit this whole freaking way. So that's a really valuable thing to understand when you're looking at like the long-term investment strategy, right? We talk about trading, and a lot of you might never even want or need that level of focus of where you are in the markets to be successful. You should focus on the job, your family, your loved ones, whatever you like to do. I just happen to like being in markets and playing with colorful charts. Something I've always loved. I've always loved math and science, and trying to figure out abstractions of how things work and why they work. And this one specifically works, again, off the basis of the fluctuations in human emotion. Okay, let's take a look at a few more of your guys' thoughts. Oh, the music is pretty loud. You guys can still hear it though? Really? No. Can you guys still hear the music? Is that a thing? Can you guys hear music? I don't know. Oh, someone asked why not sell and buy back lower, because look at the stress you'd cause yourself if you were like, oh, I'm going to sell here right now and then buy back here. Yeah, well, we just went over why Bitcoin's not necessarily a risky asset anymore. Why not just buy all of that area and wait? Because we're going a lot higher. I believe we're going to $200-something thousand. We can't hear the music. Yeah, I didn't think you could. It's just me. That's too bad. Yeah, the F2 pool nonsense is just people talking about trying to make up a reason for Bitcoin's price change afterwards. We want the music, guys. I don't know how to get it to work. You could hear it for a second. Yeah, so someone says Avalanche isn't a clear distribution TR. Yeah, well, you would probably say the same thing about Bitcoin here and then have gotten it wrong. Because you got to wait for the trading range to finish formulating. I disagree with you totally. And some of you say tax liabilities. That's just really depends on what country you're in. If you didn't know, there's no taxes in Dubai. You just are probably an American. Very little taxes here in Costa Rica. Nice. Getting a lot of fresh market signals off the table there right now too. Yeah, this drop for this evening is not done. There's the second bar come down and close beneath the box here for Ethereum. Boom. Yeah, Digibyte short trade. Yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah. So I think what we're witnessing is further volatility. There's probably a perfect conjecture here to make. Look at how we broke out of this first this first rising wedge with Cardano, and now we're hitting what looks to be a micro distribution, effectively. We're probably just going to see a bigger trading range take place, I would assume, because I don't think this bull market is near over. But this is just the springtime. Like when the springtime starts, it's just a whole new deal. Yeah, again with Avalanche, I think what we're witnessing is just that first kind of new, larger gradient trading range. I mean, look at the similarities between Bitcoin, multiple smaller trading ranges, and then the breakout into a much bigger trading range. Same with Avalanche, multiple smaller reaccumulations, boom, 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 and then a breakout into a bigger reaccumulation range. The similarities here are uncanny. We have something very, I think we're about to see, we may actually see something similar in Ethereum right now too. You may see Ethereum kind of have one final push breakup and then form a much larger trading range here, just based off where we are in the markets. Actually, that looks like a much clearer conjecture now, especially because we know to some degree that, yeah, if we might see one more up in Ethereum, but Ethereum could actually, I think it's still going to go a little bit higher first, but if we go back and we look at Aave, let's open Aave here. Okay, yeah, look at the see Kyber network too, creating its first kind of new larger trading range since the entries. How do you know when the bull run ends? When you take profits? Well, that's a very big question. There's so many ways to answer that, and there's no one size. It's like, hey, does your shoe fit my foot? No, no, it doesn't. So can't tell you my shoe's going to fit your foot. So there's no answer to those questions. Although distribution for when the Bitcoin bull market is over will be clear price spread. And I've gone over that multiple times. Okay, the music was working. So it must just be that I don't know how to get this source to go through. Yeah, it's so strange. I thought I'd figured out how to get the plug in here. But I guess not. There's like music playing in my headphones, but I just don't know how to get it to go across to the channel, which is too bad because the music is like totally dope right now. I'm rocking like a gangster. I apparently don't know how to use okay, here actually I know what I can do. I can just add, we're gonna go like this. We'll add the music in the background for you guys because why not? We'll stay up for a little bit longer. Although I did just see Mr. Beast is going to be on Clubhouse, and I like Mr. Beast maybe more than I like Elon Musk, but that's because I think Beast is ridiculous. Okay, we'll add some music anyways. Let's try it out. Play it in the background. Let's add some chill ES music. Okay, and then we'll just turn it down. Yeah, turn it down massively. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Way lower, way lower, way lower. Yeah, there you go. Okay, we'll just let that kind of play in the background, I think. Okay. Now you guys should be able to, hear a little bit of music in the background. Okay, back to TradingView. Okay, so we're using Ethereum here to kind of lead our market sentiments for a minute. As you can see, we're at the top. Okay, now guys, I guess what we could do here is make some clear distinctions. If we start to break below this green line, what is our previous support? Let's actually change these now. Let's get rid of that one. And let's run our support line straight across. Boom, like this. Well, and we'll rename resistance as well. Okay, so if we start to close below trading ranges, that's a different story, right? So for those of you that are new here, what we were studying is the Wyckoff trading method. So there's always the moment where if you are in a trading range and you start to change and then close below the major support lines, here, like a green, orange, red, we could be witnessing a much bigger market change. I don't think we're there yet, but again, this is one of the things we'd be looking for is a distribution event. Although clearly, as I've kind of pointed out in the past, we have falling supply, rising price. So there's a falling amount of supply coming into the market, and then every time that happens, the price actually continues to go up, and the volatility to the downside decreases. So you've got higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. So higher, low. Or do we break down and do we just push a larger level of this trading range, right? We could actually see that we build a bigger trading range between 1350. But again, part of what we're going to want to be watching is this primary support range that we have that's come from our primary support. And we can see that in other tokens as well. Cardano is starting to hit that area now. We can use the CryptoVac to kind of like extend the lines. Boom. So these blue and green lines, let's go to the 4 hour, probably be clearer. Yeah, there we go. So here's the 4 hour chart for Cardano. The music is very loud. Okay. Maybe that's better. Music's too low. Music very loud. Jeez, no, neither of you can decide. No, everyone disagrees on how loud or not loud the music is. That's fantastic. Makes it very difficult for me to figure it out, guys. Okay, so first off, we're looking at Cardano and trying to figure out how to do music on a live stream, apparently. That way we can hang out for longer. No, it's low. It's not too loud. No, it's too low. Now it's too low. It's that one guy who says it's too loud. Had to listen to him, didn't I? Okay, well, let's see. Maybe that's better. We're just kind of, I can kind of see it there. Maybe that's, music is not too loud, it's too low. Okay, let me know. Keep giving me insight on what you think. Oh, okay. That way we can just chill out for a bit. Marathon live stream, ladies and gentlemen. We need music. Music too low. It's not loud at all. Too quiet. Very, very quiet. Okay. What about if I do that? Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the music so we can do these like more marathon-y live streams. Louder. We'll eventually reach consensus. Guys, this is like an old school blockchain. We're just trying to figure out the volume of. I need to cut my hair. It's this. It's time to go to the city. My hair's gotten too long in the jungle again. I'm going to the city next week whenever my calendar lets me actually take that time off. Perfect. Good. Yes. Now I hear it. Nice. Okay. Cool. We're going with that one. I saw enough good comments in there. Good. Good. Music's good. Okay. Great. Thank you guys. Thank you. We've reached consensus. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it worked. We did it together. We achieved proper volume for the music in the live stream. We have not reached proper length for Tio's hair though. We've exceeded it. Okay. Back to the charts here. So these previous kind of support lines we've started to hit for Cardano. For Link, oh yeah, it's turned off. That's why. You can see them. They're usually represented by our trading range here again. And when we go over this, we've gone over this idea a few times, but the volatility that you see in these wicks is often from retail traders and the weak hands kind of being pushed out of the market. Like, look at that, all the way back down right to the top of the channel pretty much on a wick. I don't think the bleeding's done quite yet, although that was a nice turnaround point. Bang. Yeah, and we see that turnaround point in multiple areas here. So it's this nice, clear, defined trading range that I'm looking forward to with Ethereum. If this starts to break down, though, if Bitcoin were to start to break down, again, we haven't seen the supply characteristics that represent a distribution at a larger scale. But one of you asked, well, what would it take for me to be like, oh, the Bitcoin bull market has ended? It would be the change over here. Nice. I really can't tell what's going on with the music because none of you guys can decide either. It's too loud, it's too quiet, it's too loud. I have no idea. I don't know. Let's see, is there a chat? Mr. Nobody just subscribed. Thanks for that, Mr. Nobody. See, when you guys subscribe to the channel, a little keck face bear frog shows up there. That's pretty dope. I like that. Yo, good to have you guys on the live stream. Oh, look at that. Okay, I see. The music is actually only on each channel. So when I switch to a new channel, I'd have to add a new song. And then when I go to BTC share, there's the music. Ah, okay. Look at that. That's a thing I didn't know. That's probably why there was no music for a little bit, but I thought there was. It's because it actually changes. Yeah, I think that there's only... Oh, crazy guys. We're figuring stuff out here. Thank you for helping me figure out this live stream there for a sec. Wanted to put some music on for you guys. Some royalty-free music too. That was one of the tricky parts. Should you even trade right now? If you're new, no. You should not be trading when you're new. You should just be learning how to be a good investor, which is basically like going to the gym. Well, I have no idea what the name of the song is. I just grabbed it from Epidemic Sound. Okay, cool. So the music is working in the background. Thanks, guys. I just wanted to have, I figured if we're going to do an extended live stream, we should have something to chill out to. I'm going to actually try to get it so there's a playlist that we can roll in the background of all royalty-free music. Just have a hangout session sometimes, because for now, at least for now, I'm in the middle of the jungle, so might as well spend some time chilling together. What's happening with Ethereum? Nothing. It's being Ethereum still. We're seeing a nice market consolidation. Pretty important moment, I think. We call these a shakeout. It's usually to get rid of the weak hands, push them out of their positions. Some big trading ranges coming in though, that's for sure. See, Avalanche pushed into the bottom of the the final part of its trading range here. We had its original secondary test up here at $40 where my entries were, or my secondary entries were at like this. So this could be looking like a reaccumulation with a spring, most likely. And again, we've seen these before. We saw them with Aave. Actually, probably a good time to take a look at Aave. You had a look at the percentage being swept off the table here. We're gonna want to keep a really close eye on the market in the next little bit, especially with things like this. When you see these, this right now, we've talked about the larger distribution event, or these micro distributions, because we had one in Bitcoin previously, right? Where what we witnessed was multiple reaccumulation channels up, and then a big distribution, which ended up becoming not distribution at all, just a larger reaccumulation. And here, it could very clearly look like it was distribution, right? And that's what we're seeing with Aave too, or at least in the first stages, where this can look like distribution, but you have to be more patient still, because down here, we see declining supply, right? So we're still seeing less supply come into the market. Not a hugely positive thing, but look at this volume, or this supply signature here, and this wick. It was chewed back up, and I bet you if we go into the 4-hour, yeah, you can even see that the wicking on these candles here is supply being chewed up. And right now, yeah, big amount of supply, and then look at the wicks so far. So I think that this is likely distribution similar to Bitcoin here, which was not, again, distribution. It was distribution from the buying climax down to the primary shakeouts and the secondary tests, but it was ultimately another stepping stone through the rest of the bull market. So I think what we're witnessing here with Cardano, pretty much everything else, is a play where you're getting your first big shakeout. A little lower than I thought we were going to go, but that's okay. You don't try to totally sell tops or bottoms when you're looking at channels. I thought we'd have a thinner channel here, but it looks like the primary support was actually this range here, with the volume profile on the right side around 68. So we may start to have, these just larger boxes for things like Band as well, where the primary support line here is at $14. And Aave here, well, Aave could, see, Aave though, on the other hand, is a little bit more concerning. Why is my Aave not drawn yet? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so this is the box range we had drawn up for Aave. So we're still within the range we had drawn earlier. So nothing too chaotic. Aave just, again, what we want to keep an eye on is when you see up thrusts like this through the box and then distribution. If we can't get back above into this trading range here after a spring and a secondary test, it could be a much larger breakdown for Aave to like $192. And maybe that would happen with Bitcoin running, right? You've got huge gains here already. I mean, if you just measure, let's say we measure from the point of control when we first started talking about some of this stuff, 526% up. You know, this could actually, for Aave, we could actually start to see distribution here. But what we'd see first is break into the middle of the box. But this to me doesn't look like distribution. Not this supply and this upthrust after distribution supply check. It doesn't feel that way yet either. So we'll really want to keep an eye on the trading range for Aave here. It actually, because it was one of our market kind of leaders throughout this last cycle, even while Bitcoin is moving up, a lot of these even while Bitcoin are moving up too. This is really important to keep an eye on. Is the question of, is this an upthrust and distribution? And again, I don't think that it is. There's just not the supply. We want to see supply similar to here come into the market. Something equivalent. Again, the UTAD test is basically the opposite of the way we chart a spring on accumulation. So if you were to invert it, this would be the spring, this would be the secondary test, this would be your LPS, and this would be your SOS. And then do something like this, an LPS, and then break down further. That would be a sign of distribution itself, is this clear mark close. And we kind of looked at that again in Bitcoin in the small time frame when we were going over right before it dropped, and again it didn't produce distribution, it just produced a new reaccumulation pattern. If you were with us back there in January, we were charting because we were charting such small reaccumulation patterns, like this one, this one, which was quite volatile. This final moment here where we had a reaccumulation pattern looked very similar to a rounded top as we were going through it. And I believe we were using the area chart here. It looks a little cleaner. Yeah, so there would be your rounded top. Right, so we're like, so again, these are what we call micro distribution events, which is you hit a buying climax at the top, and what you end up getting is a much larger trading range. So you don't return to just the point of preliminary supply at this smaller trading range. You actually end up joining this preliminary supply to the bottom of the previous trading range as well. So that's probably what we're witnessing here in a lot of these other sectors, and I think what we're probably going to witness now in Aave. So I don't think it's done. I think what you'll get is a bigger distribution event. Now again, we'll want to keep an eye on it, so it's a good time to study, but that could mean we see as low as $300 for Aave throughout this and create a much larger new trading range. So I have to keep that in mind. Although on a day-to-day basis, if we're just using Ethereum as kind of that retail leader, why how come I wonder if the volume changes every time. No, that's not the case. Some of you, it's too quiet, it's too loud. I have no idea. I wonder why the music would have just jumped up all of a sudden. Doesn't make much sense. Okay, well, no music for you guys because it's impossible to figure out. I didn't realize there's lyrics on this song. That's crazy. Okay, well, let's turn it off. We'll just delete the music. Tried for you guys. Tried to figure it out. Couldn't do it. So there you go. No music. That's what you get. Oh yeah, I didn't realize there was singing in the music. Those are supposed to be instrumentals only. Okay, well, we fixed the song. Just no music now for you guys. We'll figure it out later. I got music on in my headphones instead. It sounds great over here. Haven't figured out how to do it for the live stream yet. Yeah, so I think we're going to get a little bit more bleeding out here. That's kind of a good thing. How low, though? That'll be a fun question. We've got a lot of support here on both Ethereum and Link, some of our market leaders, so keep an eye on that one. We're in one of the final kind of stages of the breakout of this previous trading range, so we're going to want to, and again, I feel quite confident about this just because of the falling supply coming into the market and the decreased volatility, the higher highs, higher lows each time. So everything looks good. Even if we hit here, we just form a new trading range, I think, before going out. I think that takes everything else with it. But when we look at Aave, there's definitely a potential for maybe a larger micro distribution. Again, I think this is just a seminal path along into a larger trading range, and just a potentially a larger, more volatile trading range here for Aave, where you're measuring, yeah, you could measure approximately 40% of a trading range. And we saw that with Bitcoin back in 2017. Yeah. I know we don't always have mods around because I just randomly do videos. Nothing's happened to Bitcoin or everything. Everything's perfectly fine still. This is just a market shakeout. This is profit taking for the more intermediary trades. I mean, I guess, yeah, right. Look, even from our entries in GRT, they're up 265%. Of course, move that profit into Bitcoin. Yeah, let's see here on GRT. Yeah, kind of right at its primary support within the band. That's for sure. It'd be fun. We'll know in the next 24 hours. Again, I think these are reaccumulation, but we won't know until we see a check of these trading ranges. And it looks like the Cardano trading range is going to come out right here. Our new support line. Do you think market makers have anything to do with the swing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Comp man. Literally comp man. Jerry deserves to be a mod. I wish I could figure out the music for you guys. That would have been so awesome. There you go, Jerry. You're a mod now. And please just remove anyone, or like at least mute them, who is spammy for me if you can. Why did all the crypto drop at the same time? That's great. Isn't that a great question? Why does it all happen at the same time? It's usually market operators. So they're called. We call them comp man. Comp man controls a large amount of deep pockets. And when they move, they want to try to move the markets generally to shake out weak hands so that they can buy up more, generally before final markup places. Yeah, feel free to mute people, Jerry. This late night live stream. Awesome, thanks, brother. Oh yeah, so if you guys don't know, what distribution means, it's the opposite of an accumulation. So accumulation and distribution are effectively events where you're either, the big market operators are accumulating or they're distributing their shares into the ecosystem. So yeah, that's a more complex way of saying selling. It's what the big boys call it. They call it accumulating or distributing their shares. Hey, new market terminology. Oh, it's on the magnet there, that's why. Yeah, so it looks like a new trading range is forming in most of these ideas now. And again, the volatility is often from retail traders. Again, nothing worrying here. It's just really nice to see this. Dirk Ridgway gives me a red thumb up. Yeah, guys, we'll figure out the music so we can do a late night live stream, because that's an important thing to do. Yeah, my pleasure to do the live stream, guys. I'm sorry I couldn't figure out the live music. I'm gonna get it though. I want it in my mind. I'm like, let's do a marathon live stream where we just hang out and do like maybe a Zoom call where we can have a few of the private members jump in and ask questions or join in on the charts and share content. Might be kind of a fun thing to do. Yeah, premium prices between exchanges are effectively how they make profit. That's how buying and selling works. How accumulating and distributing works. Distributing. Distributing. It sounds very British, doesn't it, when you say it like that? Nice. Okay, there we go. Oh, here we go. There's Mike too. We'll make Mike. Mike, you get upgraded to a moderator today. There you go. Congrats, Mike. You're now a moderator of the channel. Yeah, there should be no music playing in the background. It's one of the things we wanted to fix. We'll figure it out so there is music. We will get music. We'll get music going, guys. Yeah, I promise we'll get there one of these days. But not today. I have music in my own ears. I get to listen to the music. I love to see all you guys. Oh my God, ETH, should we buy or should we sell? It's funny. That's the sound of a retail hand being crushed by the markets. This is a shakeout, ladies and gentlemen. It's doing what it's supposed to. It's trying to shake people out. And again, there's a lot of retail in here. Look at these wicks. Jesus. Look at that wick there. So much fear. Okay, we could make a reason that Avalanche actually had some reason to be fearful because there was a bug between some of the blockchains talking, but they had fixed it. It's no reason to worry. But yeah, I guess in general, probably the easiest way to think of this is there's a lot of positive volatility in the market. We were able to capture some of that to the upside. Now we're seeing big retracements down to the bottom of trading ranges of around 40%. We saw that quite often in Bitcoin in 2017 too. And again, I guess that's the interesting part when we make an analysis here is that, number one, Bitcoin is the least volatile, right? So it doesn't go up as much, but it also doesn't go down as much either. Yay! That's a nice thing. I think it's a really important function to understand. I didn't realize that there was lyrics in the song I was playing, guys. I just downloaded a random song and hit play. Thought it would. I guess if there's no lyrics in the song, that would be a better way to go. I'll figure that out. I mean, I could probably do it right now. Okay, let's do it right now. We'll stay on. What time is it? 10:30. Okay, we'll stay on for another half minutes. So half 30 minutes. Jesus, Tio, it's late. But I love doing these live streams, so let's try to pimp it out for you guys. I thought it was supposed to be an instrumental. I don't know why it was. Invasion instrumental version. Add it up. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try the song thing one more time and see how it goes, because it's probably going to be... No, I don't want to do it. It's just going to be too loud. I'll have to pre-figure it out before we do it. Don't want to do it while we're actually live. It's just going to keep screwing it up. And I couldn't get it right the first time, so there's no reason why I should think I'm going to get it right this time with the music in the live stream. Oh well, next time. We'll get it next time, guys, I promise. Travis333 says, awesome content as always, brother. Any chance you know about Rook or aka Keeper DAO? Looks really nice. CEO of FTX just put a lot of money into it. I haven't heard of Keeper DAO yet, although I do know that the blockchain sector, Keeper DAO, keeping up with the Kardashians is one of the things that came up there. Did y'all see that? Keeper DAO is an on-chain liquidity underwriter for DeFi. Sam's cousin, looks like Scamscon. QuantStamp, PeckShield, top security of the Keeper DAO protocols and number one priority. Risk factors, application, app at Keeper DAO. Please connect your wallet. No thanks, not right now. Okay, so these are looking like they're similar to the Wi-Fi earn pools and some of the other ones that were out there. There was Keeper too. I think it was K33PR or something like this. The Keeper token tracker. Yeah, this one. This is another one that Andre Krohn had put out, I believe. I don't. If you went with the 400,000 max supply again, they just know how to jack prices up. Hey, that's Market Man for you. Keeper. Yeah, fundamentals and technical info. Let's see what it says. This is another version of one of those DAOs. Does it tell us anything more about it? Let's find out. Nothing. Website doesn't even work. Okay. So yeah, these Keeper DAOs, these smart contract securities with no priority, encourage research, third-party integration, keep compound of the link protocols. Okay. Yeah, just new toys. Everyone's still building new toys. Liquidity backstop. Keeper DAO scales DeFi by acting as a proxy volatility fund, providing backstop liquidity for on-chain lending and synthetic asset protocols. Okay, interesting. Like a margin ad. Harvests excess returns by capturing arbitrage opportunities during market times of volatility and distress. Ooh, that's another good one. That's a nice rook. Is that what that is? Is that a rook? And these are 2 towers. Game theoretic optimal. Via incentivized on-chain cooperation, keepers are able to extract more profit, pay less gas, and capture more opportunities than that would be available in a single actor. Interesting. It'd be fun to go through and read a bit deeper here, I guess. Keeper DAO is like a mining pool, incentivizes game theory optimal strategies. Who are keepers, on-chain actors, manage liquidations, rebalances, and arbitrage for DeFi, spanning trading and lending, how are profits generated. Keepers borrow from funds from continual pools of compatible assets. Anyone can borrow from the pool to leverage on-chain opportunities. Profits on the on-chain opportunity are returned to the pool. Profits are distributed between keepers and liquidity providers, or LPs. Interesting. You know, there's so much value to capture here in these ecosystems still. We're really like still in the early days of a lot of this stuff. You don't want to think too much about it. That's for damn sure. But I would be interested to I'm going to drop this one on the tech team's desk, guys. I'll pin it. I'll save it for later. Nice share. Thank you. Keeper DAO looks interesting. Yeah, here comes the final kind of push down for the shakeout here. Probably do 43,000 for Bitcoin and like 1562 for Ethereum to enter this backup phase. The long-awaited backup phase after our SOS. Now we get to find out what kind. So this is probably a good time to actually remove our horizontal line or our trend lines here. So for those of you that are following, it's probably easier to, looks much clearer like this now too. This was the primary trading range that we were in, this nice one here. And then we broke up into the backup trading range. So we're going to want to keep an eye on these. Again, when I add the other 2 lines back, it doesn't, yeah, they're both the resistance and support. It's a little bit messy. It's hard to tell that this range that we were in for quite some time was the trading range we were following here and here. And this represented our SOS and then the first part of our backup phase that we're starting to see here. Again, kind of similar to Bitcoin. If you look at it, we're seeing again the backup phase forming above the previous trading range here. Although Bitcoin looks like it's forming this is a very strong indicator to move up that quickly. And so Ethereum, we're kind of made some conjecture earlier on in the video about retail, etc. But definitely going to want to keep a close eye. I believe these supports hold. But if for some reason we start to see distribution, guys, remember, I'll be the first one to go, uh-oh, it's at least yellow. We could go to like, let's go to blue. Would blue confuse everyone? Or like there's a lighter green. Yeah, today we're not fully green. We're just like lighter green. Because at any moment in the markets could switch. Even Bitcoin, even though I'm fairly confident we're going much higher, we could see a massive amount of supply come in here and create an upthrust and fail, right? So we're too early on in this finality of the trading range to say that it's for sure. But again, just from the characteristics, both of these, both Ethereum and Bitcoin, falling supply, rising price, right? There's Bitcoin, here's Ethereum, same scenario, falling supply, rising price, falling supply, rising price. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are having the same fundamental action in this backup phase of falling supply, rising price. Now, even on the bigger range for Bitcoin itself, aside from we kind of talked about Musk's tweet here and the news here, we still actually see a general decline of supply moving through the market while the price is actually rising on this end too. More importantly, while we were falling, we were just interested in the fact that the supply was still falling, because we thought about this. There could maybe be a bull flag if it decided to spring down and go to that $22,000 area. When it didn't and it broke above the creek here, it was quite a bullish moment for Bitcoin. Just a larger change of character that took place when we closed above the POC. And then it turned into our first run into a resistance at 40,000, and then very quickly we jumped into 48,000. So this, these backup lines to me I think are just to be expected. We're seeing a new backup phase for both Ethereum and Bitcoin. Everyone thinks they're going to get rich overnight. Yeah, that's a big one. People have this problem. I like how TikTok says Dogecoin is falling. Yeah, of course it is. Actually, Dogecoin would be a fun one to look at just to see where it's at in its market cycle. We'll look at Dogecoin just for fun. Yeah, look at that massive distribution. Although, yeah, you don't want to play in the nonsense world, but really interesting to see. Look at how little supply is coming into the market, though. It's kind of fascinating. Didn't Elon Musk make a tweet about Doge today? Didn't Elon say something about Doge? I swear he did. I want to find out what he said. I want Elon Doge. That's what I was gonna write. Elon Doge. Someone needs to make that count. Elon Musk, a business leader. Yes. Nice. Elon Musk just invited the Kremlin of Russia to join a conversation on Clubhouse. If major Dogecoin holders sell most of their coins, it will get my full support. Too much concentration is the only real issue, in my opinion. Think about that. Sell me your coins. Sell me your Doge. He basically just said sell, right? If too many people are holding, it doesn't work very well. Not as a currency. That's a different story, though. Much longer story. Look at the volatility, though, again, right? 180% for Doge from the previous range. And even more importantly, if you were in Doge anywhere before, okay, let's just for shits and giggles, guys, let's make some conjecture here that goes out a little longer for Doge, just because we can kind of share the stupidity of being in the markets at all. Okay. Let's say you bought Doge in, what is this? What day is this? March 11th. No way. I got March 11th right on the dot there. Are you kidding me? Okay, let's say you bought Doge, $1,000 worth of Doge on March 11th. If you had $1,000 worth of Doge on March 11th, you'd have $38,000 today. So don't neglect being ridiculous with your VenCap plays, right? Just say that again. If you put $1,000 in Doge on the 11th of March, and we've played this game before, you'd have $38,000 today, and at your peak, you would have had $62,000. So keep that in mind, okay? So again, March 11th to the top. If you put $1,000 in Doge to the top, this is just speculative speak here, you'd have $65,000. Just think about that, right? That's if you've done the same thing with Bitcoin, you'd have $10,000. Now, I'm not saying you should invest in Doge. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I think it really goes to the highlight of some of the points we were going over previously, which is that there's volatility in these markets. So you want to be able to eat that up through time. Because through time there, if you had just accidentally bought $1,000 worth of Doge, you'd be sitting on 60 grand. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Actually, let's see if there's one of these charts that give us Doge even further. Let's make some even further time conjectures for Doge. Doge. Okay, so we're opening up Doge now. Just what I want to try to do is grab some back data. Where is Doge going to be traded the longest? I guess Bittrex should probably have some time on Doge, shouldn't it? Let's see how much data they give us. How far back can we go on the daily for Doge? Only till July 20th. That's not... I want a lot more data for that Doge. Come on, guys. Where's the Doge that has like all the way back to 2013 prices? Okay, I guess we can actually probably just find it by going to CoinGecko, our favorite market cap aggregator. Let's go to CoinGecko for a minute and type in Doge. And I think it's going to show its lifetime. I think it does that, right? Oh, this is KeeperDAO. How did I end up in KeeperDAO? That's weird. Okay, guys, I will look at KeeperDAO. It's twice now. I don't even know how I ended up there. Okay, let's just for fun here. Okay, so all-time low for Doge. I'm not saying you would have been able to buy this, but just take a look at this. All-time low for Doge was May 6, 2015, almost 6 years ago. And it's up 57,999% from then. That means if you put $1,000 in May of 2015, it'd be worth around $500,000 today. Did I get that right? 5,799 times 1,000, right? Yeah, wait, hold on. Yeah, that should, wait, 5,799% is, sorry, that's, Jesus, is it that late in my mind right now? I can't even figure this out. Yeah, okay, 10x is 1,000%. So 57,999% is a 5,799x gain. Or sorry, yeah, 579x gain. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. 579,000. Jesus Christ. When it's late, my brain does not work at all. I got it right though. I'm glad I got it right, even though I couldn't think about it. So if you put $1,000 in Doge in 2015, approximately May, you'd be sitting on $579,000 today. 5.79 million? Is that right? Okay, so it would be even more. You guys are all saying it's a few, like 5 to 7 million. I don't know why my brain is so bad at doing math right now. For every 1,000%, it's a 10x. So you've got 10, 570, 5,700. Oh yeah, maybe it is 5.7 million. Jesus Christ. Was it 5.7 million? Anyways, you get either it's either 580,000 or 5.7 million. Either way, if you put $1,000 in Doge in 2015, you made a lot of money off of that. Don't neglect what $1,000 can do in the ridiculous space of crypto. And I think that's one of the most important parts to take away from my horrible math right now. That's funny. So keep that in mind. My guess is 5. So keep that in mind, guys. I don't know why my math is so bad at braining right now. Yeah, okay, there we go. What time is it? Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you for all thank you all for joining us. I can hear my brain start to go to sleep. It is the Costa Rican jungle. Bedtime here is normally 9 o'clock. I just wanted to do a live stream with you guys. I thought it would be fun. I will play just a little bit of music for the end of the episode because it's late, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Thank you for being calm, remaining centered, stable, going through your day with us. I'll figure out the music live stream, and we'll try to do like a marathon. Jeez, I can't think it all this late. Yes, this late is not this, or this is like comedy hour because I said my brain can't math, or my math can't brain. Ha ha. Yes. Thank you guys all for joining us this evening. Oh, we got a new flute Well, this one's not new, but it's new for you guys, so we'll keep that in mind. I wanted to bust this one out. It needs a little bit of fixing. Let's see here. There we go. This is like a little bit of bedtime music for you guys, okay? Yes, Tube of the Arcane Bear. Very excited to chat with you guys this evening. We will see you again on the next episode. Thank you for being so supportive. You guys are fantastic. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's for you, Ron. You'll probably want to know that later because it sounds like you probably win a lot of stupid prizes in life. See you guys in the next episode. Tube of the Arcane Bear. Blah, blah, boom.